In this video, I'm going to talk about something that can happen, of course, it can happen in face-to-face life, and it can happen online. And I'm going to use online as an example, And it's when somebody, let's say this one, I'm going to use the example as a woman, say your age or older, and it's very pushy online. Tries to get your attention, tries to, in whatever way. Let's just say like you're on some social media, you leave posts, you can do pictures, videos, whatever it is, some kind of social media group format, that you can do that, and you've been doing it for years, and this person is rather new, not somebody that you've really had any contact with until later on. At some point you go and check because of what they started doing. Now, whatever she does, one of the things is you don't even know she exists until one day she posts a comment on whatever it is you posted, whether it was like I said, just a post of written pictures, videos, whatever it was, and she makes a comment that seemed okay, or you really didn't even pay attention to it. Maybe that's what it was. You were busy or something, didn't pay any attention to it. But eventually this person, she gets really pushy. And immediately when you notice this, what she's saying, you think, okay, that's a really subtle insult. Very, very subtle. And maybe other people would think she's just being nice, but you can tell. Now, this is going to be written, something that's written, text, in the comment. And of course, you're thinking yourself how she was saying it. You don't know the intonation, the attitude, whatever. You don't really know. But after a while, you can, right then you get this gut instinct, and I trust mine. Yeah. But as time goes by, it's like even more proven to you what this person, what she is saying, how she's saying it. My experience with experiences, I've been online since 1990, with this kind of thing is, this kind of person, is that this person wants all the attention, and if they're especially being pushy. Now, not everybody, this is not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing, different for different people, because everybody's different. And plus, these people can be dangerous, so I'll go ahead and add that here, a little disclaimer. It's also in the description box below this video on YouTube. Anyway, my experience is that this is a person who's kind of a little bit narcissistic and histrionic. Not the diagnosed, but the behaviors are rather narcissistic or rather histrionic. They got to have that attention, and they'll go about it in any way, shape, form, or fashion to get it. It doesn't matter if it's, more histrionic. It doesn't matter if it's negative or what, but they're going to make themselves look like they're the best and everybody's the worst. And that's my experience. Also, my experience is, no matter whether I would encourage them at first, it seems like, well, maybe I'm wrong if I did that thing, didn't trust my gut, and think, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I just, read it wrong, and then just kept, responding or something like that, responded back. Or if I discouraged it by saying, I'm not, somehow nicely saying I'm not interested, and or it did nothing, just silence, nothing, didn't comment. But yeah, this kind of thing, no matter what I did, what, in my experience, if they're this type, they're going to still do whatever they can. And the best thing to do is online would be to block, if it's possible, to block them to where they can't see what you're doing, or if they still see it, they can't comment, unless of course they get a fake account or something like that. Still block them. Personally, I would not encourage it in any way. If I got that feeling right off the bat when I first noticed that person, or I checked out whatever they did, and see that they're not a troll. This is a person who's contributed to whatever it is, and they're not a troll, maybe, but you know, to see and say that person, in this case, a woman, I'm just not interested in what she has to say, you know, or what she's doing, or her projects, or whatever it is. I'm not interested. Now, some people say, well, you can still be supportive. No, I think that's encouraging something that, are you going to continue to support? And especially, like, say, if they write a post that's, every time they write a post, it's really long. And, or every time they make a video, it's really long. And they make a bunch of whatever, often. And you really don't have the time to, to develop a friendship with that person because it's just something you don't like, or it's too much, both, whatever. Or you just don't like, you're not saying that what they are is bad, or maybe you do pick up that they're bad. Whatever it is, I have to teach myself this too, remind myself of this, to don't encourage it, you know. Now, discouraging can be kind of iffy, like I said, or it depends, because they can be dangerous. But in my experience, this person's going to do as much damage as they can anyway. But in person, they can be physically dangerous also. That's not the only kind of danger there is, but yeah, abusive. But my experience is, like I just said, they're going to do it anyway. Like online, they're going to, they want that attention, and they're not getting it from you, or they're not getting it all from the people who read you or watch you or whatever. Yeah. To go back to this part where you're reading, or you're reading their comments, whatever it is, or you've gone and checked out their own and see their attitude, but you can really, you're still trusting your gut, trust your gut, but you see it progress. The comments go from being, or maybe you see it happening to somebody else if you've blocked that person or whatever, but you can see this person doing it to somebody else, or you. And it starts off as just kind of a, sometimes they start off with what people call love bombing. Oh, you're the greatest, you're the best, you're this, whatever. But then their comments become something like, they compare themselves to you. Such as, oh, you did it that way, well, I do this way. Now, I can't say that's their tone because you can only read. Okay, you're not hearing that tone, that attitude. But yeah, they're going to compare themselves to you, or they're going to compare you to others too. Say, when somebody else did this, they had a lot of comments on it. Or maybe you put up a picture or something that you're really, snapshot, and you're really, happy about it, and maybe a little bit, not certain what others will say. And that person, in this case a she, jumps right in and says something like, well, everybody's doing that these days. Again, I say that's the way you're hearing it, but is the person really saying that? Trust your gut. Really trust your gut. But, and I mean, it can go on. The comments also can be extremely subtle, where you would have to read something into it, but it's a pattern that you can see, or like I say, trust your gut. And then later on, you see the pattern. But in all this, like many people say, I'm not giving anybody any advice. This is what I am trying to remind myself of, and I keep doing and keep reminding myself of, because you're always going to get that person. It's to block them. That's it. Block, delete. Delete their comment, block. Some things, on some social media, I think it does both. If you block the person, it deletes their comments too. Their previous comments, and some, I think, that once you block them, they can't see what you do. Okay, I don't think that's on YouTube. I'm pretty sure they still see what you do. But yeah, and then they'll move on. My personal experience, I can't say they would do this, none of this, 100% across the board, is if they don't get that from you, they can't get it from you, they're going to move to somebody else. Because they're going to do it, and that's the way that they think they get above it all. Well, in some ways they do. They do get a lot more attention. They do get whatever it is. But what kind of person is it? And I think eventually people figure it out. People do figure it out. And they move on. They say, this person's bad. Not dealing with this, this type of person. and they move on. But they don't care. They're getting new supply, of people coming in and giving them everything they want, getting all that attention. But yeah. Now, why it's on my mind is, it happened to me just yesterday, and it was a woman. That's why I said woman. It was online. So, but for me to have that immediate, reaction, gut reaction, gut instinct, some call it. Yeah, I trusted it, and I wasn't wrong. And I know I'm since 1990, that I could add some attitude in it that wasn't there. That happens to everybody. I do believe you don't know exactly what the person's saying, because how they're saying it, because you don't hear them. You're just reading it. But yeah, I trusted it, and I saw that, from that following, there were very extremely subtle, extremely, like an outsider might not pick up on it unless the person should trust their gut and they get the same kind of feeling. But yeah, something's not right there. Something is going, that person's doing something, and then, I'm not going to encourage it anymore. The whole thing of block, delete, so I have more on this subject, but that's going to be noisy, and it's going to be around here. Well, maybe not. Anyway, I do have more to say on this topic. I'll do another video maybe one day, to add a little more to it. But anyway, what about you? Leave a comment below, and if you want to subscribe to this channel, click the circle. If you want to watch another video on this channel, click one of the rectangles. Like, subscribe, comment, and share on your own social media if you would. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.